Hi, my name is Lindsay Francis, and after going through our book and just the learnings we've had throughout this course, I've created a data analysis protocol tool that I could use for a future school if I ever do become a building administrator. What I would like to start with for our protocol, or just like any type of meeting, is just a set of norms. I think a lot of people get very intimidated when thinking about analyzing data. So, what I would like to do is start each meeting with reminding teachers to engage with an open mind, not to come in trying to place blame anywhere or pinholing just like one option as the problem. I would like to remind them to separate observation from inference. So look at the data, see what it has to say, and don't just jump to the first conclusion that you see. Be thorough. So the first solution you may think of might not always be the best one. You need to look at data in multiple ways to see if you can come up with something that maybe you haven't seen before, or dig a little bit deeper. And then, of course, focus on meaningful discussion and long-term improvement. As I said at the beginning, we're not here to place blame on anyone, on the teachers, on the students, on the curriculum. We really are here to figure out how to best solve the problem that we're noticing. What I would start with first in our protocol after the data norms is to just review the current data. This could be something that I send out to teachers ahead of time also, just so they can have a look at it and come prepared to their meeting. We might consider, who are we as a school, or who are the students we're talking about, and where are they performing now? Then other things to think while we're looking at this is, what stands out? Is there something that jumps to you right away, or what do you notice? And then, is there something reoccurring or that a lot of students are experiencing? What do we see? After we discuss those things, I might have teachers do that just one-on-one personally with themselves first. They can write it on a sticky note, or maybe submit responses somehow, and then we can talk about them as a group. I know a lot of people may not be comfortable sharing what they first notice, or might be more willing to share something they notice if they don't have to stand up and speak in front of the group. But after we get everyone's ideas out on the table, I would like to step into prioritizing the concerns, or targeting one specific area. So where do we want to be as opposed to where we are now? And what is kind of our main focus? What should the first priority, the first step be? Once we've identified what we want to work on, we would go to identifying the gaps and root causes. So what's the difference between where the students are performing now and where we want them to be? And then look for, why do we think that is? And identifying a root cause might take some time. That's something I learned in the book. You have to ask a lot of why before you get past all of the symptoms to know what's really going on. We can, associate, oh, that child didn't sleep well, or oh, maybe it was just a bad day that day, or oh, I don't think the book covered it that well, but there could be a lot more to dig deeper into for that. And then after that, we would need to make an action plan once we've discussed what we need to do to close those gaps. So how do we get to where we want to be, and what goals are we going to set? We need a measurable goal so we know exactly what we're working towards. What needs to change? Are the teachers needing to change? The students? Do we need to look at other resources? Those are all things that we could look into changing, and it might be a combination of a few. So it will be good to make an action plan with outlined goals and action steps. And then finally, after we begin outlining our goals and our action plan, we need to talk about how to progress monitor. What are the measurable objectives that we're working towards, and how are we going to evaluate how we're doing in that process? We also need to look at a timeline and create some sort of calendar so teachers can be, held accountable and just know what they're doing. The best thing to do is to become informed. So that would be the process that I would follow. We would implement and evaluate and continuously reflect throughout the process. So I think it would also be helpful at all of our meetings to have somebody there taking notes that can be, formatted into an easy visual to provide for our teachers and staff members after the meeting, just so they can remember what we're working towards. But that's the data protocol I think I would put in place at my school to start.